In this video, you will learn how to find the areas of triangles and trapezoids. Now, the area of a triangle is very similar to finding the area of a parallelogram. The area of a parallelogram, we have learned, can be found by taking the base times the height, while a triangle is basically half of a parallelogram. So the formula for the area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. So it's 1/2 of the parallelogram formula. So here is an example of a triangle that is 9 inches in height and 12 inches for the base. I can imagine this as being half of a parallelogram. If I double the triangle, I'm going to get this parallelogram right here, and the area of a parallelogram is base times height, right? We take the 12 times 9, but here we're working with only half of that parallelogram. So the area therefore is 1/2 times base times height. So we plug in a 12 for the base, so 12 is the base, and then 9 would be your height. So we have 1/2 times 12 times 9, which is 1/2 of 108, which is going to be 54. So the area is 54, and again, your units for area will be square units. So here we have inches squared, or square inches. Now just be careful when you're finding the height of a triangle. The height is going to be perpendicular to the base. It's like here 9 and 12, they're perpendicular to each other, meaning they're 90 degrees right here. So in this next example, we have a triangle in which the base is 12 and the height is 9. Okay, the height is 9 because it is perpendicular. It is 90 degrees to this base. So the area of the triangle we can find by taking 1/2 times base times height. So 1/2 of the base is 1/2 times 12, and then the height is 9. So 1/2 of 12 is 6. 6 times 9 is 54. So my area is 54 square inches. And that is my solution. And again, this is true because I can imagine this triangle as being extended or duplicated. So if I double this triangle, notice I would get this parallelogram. And the area of a parallelogram is base times height. And notice this triangle is 1/2 of that entire parallelogram. So the area, once again, is 1/2 times the base times the height. So we've learned how to find the area of a triangle. Next, we need to know how to find the area of a trapezoid. So a trapezoid, by definition, is a shape that has one set of parallel sides. So it could look something like this, where we have the top and bottom being parallel. Or you could have it rotated, something like this, where now the sides are going to be the parts that are parallel. Okay, to find the area of a trapezoid, what we do is we take what is called the median, multiply it by the height. So the median is a word that means middle. Okay, so median, let me spell that out for you. So M is median. That means the middle. So what we have is the line that goes in the middle or in between the two parallel sides. So like right here, this line would be the median. For this one that is turned sideways, the median would be right down here through the middle. So that would be your median. Alright, so the median goes in between the two parallel sides. The two parallel sides are called bases. So that, I guess, is one base. Here is another base. For this one that is turned sideways, in this case, the parallel sides are on the side. So the bases are on the side in this example. Alright, so the bases are the parallel sides, and then the median is in the middle. So to find this, to find the area, we take the median, multiply it by the height. So let's take a look right here at this example. So the median is this line right down the middle, and we find that by taking the average of the bases. So the median, by definition, is the average of the bases. So if we average the 10 and 18 together, then we can find the length of the median. So we average 10 and 18 by adding and dividing by 2, which gives me 28 over 2, or 14. So this median is 14 inches. So we found the median, and now the height, remember, is going to be a perpendicular distance. And the height for a trapezoid is this perpendicular distance from base to base. So this distance connecting the two bases, that is your height. So here our height is 12. So to find the area, we take median times height, so 14 times 12, which would give me 168, and the units are square inches. So 168 inches squared. Here is one more example where we are to find the area of the trapezoid. So again, our formula is area equals median times height. Now don't be confused, because here this trapezoid is turned sideways. The bases are going to be these two sides that are parallel. So this would be base 1, and then this other side right here is base 2. Alright, so the median is the line going in between, which you don't need to draw it, but it's this line right down the center. And we find the median by taking the average of the bases. So if we average the 11 and 5, the two bases, we find the median. So we average by taking 11 plus 5 divided by 2, which is 16 over 2, or 8. So the median is 8, and the height, don't get confused with this picture as well. The height is a perpendicular distance from base to base. So notice right here, this side is perpendicular to the two bases. So this here, this 8, is our height. That is our perpendicular distance from base to base. So the height is also 8. So we take 8 times 8 to get 64. And there's no units given, so no need to write the units. But the area is going to be 64. And that is my solution. Now, what if you did not know that this entire side had a length of 11? We just had this picture right here. How could we find this length to be 11 to find the area to be 64? Well, what I could have done is notice that this length is 5. So that means right here is also going to be 5. So to find the entire length of this second base over here, I need to find the entire length, which would be a combination of this 5 plus whatever this distance is up here, which we'll call x. So bottom line, I just need to figure out what is x. And to do that, I can look here at this triangle. So notice this is a right triangle. So I have a right triangle, I can redraw it over here. And the side lengths are x, 8, and 10. And with the right triangle, we can find a missing side length by using Pythagorean theorem, which says c squared equals a squared plus b squared, where c is always the hypotenuse, or the side across from the right angle. So 10 would be your c value, so plug a 10 in. Then a and b could be your x and your 8. So we have x for a, and then 8 for b. And then we can solve this. 100 equals x squared plus 64. I can solve for x by moving the 64 to the left side. And I do that by subtracting. We now have x squared equals 36. So what squared is 36? Well, that's going to be 6, because 6 times 6 is 36. So this here is 6, which means the entire side over here would be 11, which would then lead us to the problem we just had finished, where we find the average of the bases, find the median, and then multiply it by the height of 8, which would give me 64 as my final area. And that concludes our lesson for today. We will see you next time.